to the Pizza Marketplace podcast. I'm Mandy Detwiler, editor of Pizza Marketplace, and I'm here today with Jeff Hetsel, president of Cicis Pizza. Jeff, thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having us, Mandy. I appreciate it.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Cicis?
Well, I've been president of Cicis the last 5 years. I've been with Cicis Pizza 32 years. I'm also a franchisee at 2 stores, and I'm president of our distribution company, JMC. So I've been all the way around this for a long time.
Sounds like you've been doing this for a long time. I think you've got some great insight for us today. So how's the buffet business going? How are sales right now?
It's going great. Positive sales. Traffic is good. We've really had a great year so far, working on ways to leverage technology to continue to drive sales. And we've had a lot of really good LTOs so far this year and got some really big surprises in store for the rest of the year on the LTO front. So very excited about the direction we're heading. And one of the big things that we have going on next year is our 40th anniversary. So
Wow.
The marketing team and everybody here is really excited about how to celebrate that milestone anniversary for our brand.
Well, Cicis has been a pioneer in the buffet style dining experience for a long time. How has the concept evolved over the years, and how do you see it adapting to changing consumer preferences now?
I think a lot of the core values are the same, quality, service, cleanliness, jump the counter mentality as far as taking care of the guest. And one of the big things that we've always tried to do is if you don't see your favorite pizza, we'll make it for you. So if you go down to the buffet and you go past the soup, the pasta, the salad, and the desserts, if you really don't see your favorite kind of pizza, then we'll be glad to make it for you. We cook pizzas in about 3.5 minutes, so we should be able to get every guest exactly what they want. That hasn't really changed. I would say the biggest change that we've really been focused on the last several years is the kind of more eatertainment, right? How do you enhance your game rooms? How do you connect better digitally with your guest in that CRM kind of umbrella?
How do you balance providing value for your customers while maintaining those quality standards that Cicis is known for?
Well, I think our big primary edge is we do our own distribution. So we get to buy in quantity for 300 stores. We have the ability to go out and we have folks on team from a commodity standpoint. Within our marketing department, we have an innovation person, Pam Brewski, that tests products all the time. We do weekly cuttings of different products to try to find. We're always looking for, not only high quality products, but, products that maybe fit logistically and help us keep our low price point.
Okay. So the restaurant industry, especially pizza, is highly competitive. I mean, there are pizza places all over 76,000 pizzerias at any given time in the U.S.
Right.
What's going to set Cicis apart from other buffet style restaurants and fast casual pizza chains?
Well, really, we don't have a lot. In my mind, we don't really have a lot of buffet pizza competition the way we do it. We make our dough fresh every single day. We don't, keep dough and sauce and things like those in freezers. I think the focus on fresh food, making the guest exactly the pizzas and food styles that they want, and having the availability of games without being immersed in games. I don't feel like we really have a lot of competition for what we do. There are other pizza buffet chains out there, but I feel like we are different, and we've been doing it for longer than any I'm aware of.
So let's talk about your culture. What steps have you taken to foster a positive and inclusive company culture at Cicis for your employees?
Well, I think, first of all, we're a very small outfit. We have an office here in Dallas, Texas, right by the airport. And then we have corporate stores in 4 or 5 different markets. But I think the big primary thing is communication, support. Our big priority is it's not a bunch of people in office serving the president. It's the president and everybody in the office supporting the folks out in the field that really are up against the guest every single day in the stores. Also, too, on a store level, those are the most important people that you have to really take care of. And people act to their wage, right? So you got to take care of your team and make sure they're being fairly, compensated. Training has been really important. We've really focused and leveraged technology with training. But from a culture standpoint, we get our franchises. We're about to have our conference, our franchisee conference in October, and bring everybody in from across the country. We have a every other week town hall where I get on and the leadership team is all around the table, and we talk to all of the managers and franchisees about, keeping them up to speed on what's going on. And I think being included in all that really helps us drive our culture.
What are you doing to retain and develop your employees?
Well, from a training standpoint, we're constantly working on developing different ways to communicate, making processes more simple, going out and do more hand-to-hand training. So we're actually going out this quarter to every market in the company and going out and just reworking with everybody and recertifying everybody on how the expectations at the buffet and how the guest interaction with folks. But you got to really meet folks where they are. One of the things that we've done that's really helped us is we started something called Cicis Listens, and on every table and every dining room there's a QR code. So we're getting feedback from the guest. They don't have to get on somebody's website. They can just literally use that QR code to give us direct feedback. It's a direct line to the office. And then we're turning that around and saying, hey, this is where we're doing a great job with the guest, or hey, here's an area we're falling short. And we immediately change any training or anything we need to do and get directly with the team. So if people know how they're doing and how the guest has perceived them, it really helps them understand, well, if you're doing a great job, we do a great job of helping celebrate that. But if we have somewhere where we've fallen short, we try to correct it with that guest, but then also how do you correct it for the system?
How are you leveraging technology to enhance that customer experience from ordering to dining? How are you using tech?
Well, last year we spent the entire year putting in a whole new ERP system for our company. We put in a brand new POS system on every counter in every store in the company. This year, our focus is we're building our own loyalty app. We're not buying something out of the box, nothing really fit for us. So we're building our own loyalty app. The marketing team and Whitney Cartmill, our CRM director, is also working on a party program with the entire marketing department right now. And right now, if you want to set up a party with Cicis, there's no consistent party program across the whole company. Some people are using different things, but we're going to be on a unified party planning system where from anywhere if you're a mom or dad at work and you want to plan a birthday party or a sports gathering, getting on a unified a system to do that. So those are the things right now where we're kind of leveraging technology and trying to meet the guests where they are.
You said you're building your own loyalty program. That's got to be difficult. I mean, that can't be something that is easy to do.
It's just you have to rely on awesome vendors. I mean, we have such great vendor partners. Our CIO, David Roberts, here does a wonderful job of managing all of our tech and his teams. But in a coordinated effort with the marketing team, we have wonderful partners. We have I don't know, I think we probably have 20 or 30 different partners working with us on any given time at the different technical projects in our business. So we rely very heavily on the best and the brightest and pay to get the right people to help us.
What are some of the features that you're looking for in that loyalty program?
I think the primary thing is, ease of use. I mean, it's got to be something simple. We all talked about who we think are the best in the industry or best in the food service industry for their loyalty programs. And, we're borrowing a little bit of this maybe and borrowing a little bit of that and whatever the most latest and greatest technology is. But, the guest has to be able to see where they are almost instantaneously. It's got to have ease of use, and it's got to be done in such a way that it drives, more interactions with that guest. You're really trying to, the loyalty program, you're really trying to make, be a part of their life and mindset. You want them to go in there and be a big part of your business, and you don't want to have them just be a kind of once a month partner. You want to, make these things so they're excited and incentivized to come back and use their app.
My colleague Shara Kanzler, who's our vice president of events here, likes to ask her speakers what keeps them up at night. So, what keeps you up at night?
I think the thing that really keeps me up probably the most at night is I've got a wonderful team, so I really don't worry about my team. I really don't worry about the guests. I think we do a really good job of taking care of the guests. I think, the big things you worry about are things that are way out of your control. Like I never went to bed and worried about COVID because I didn't know it existed, right? It just kind of came over us in a flood. But you're really worried about, long term continuing to be relevant, continuing to, how do you take this legacy brand into the next, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years. I think that's the thing I think about at night. It's not from a point of worry. It's more about a point of dreaming. What is this, what does this brand look like in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? How do you keep it relevant? How do you keep that relationship with your guest? And how do you keep your team together? There's a lot of competition for great talent in our industry, and keeping your team together, keeping everybody focused on the big goals. Everybody knows the story of Encyclopedia Britannica. We all had one. Blockbuster. We all went there. You don't want to just lean on your old understandings. You have to really dream and think about the future. And so, if anything really keeps me up at night, is how do I realize the future potential given the great situation we have right now?
Okay.
That's really kind of what I think about.
Sure. So let's talk about staying ahead of trends and introducing new menu items. You guys do some really cool LTOs. What are you doing to maintain customer favorites while putting out those LTOs?
I think the biggest thing is we really try to focus on only having one slot of the buffet be an LTO. So when we have pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls, like we will coming up, in this in pumpkin spice season with everybody else,
Right.
we keep our original cinnamon rolls on the buffet. We don't take away that favorite. And when we like we did the Oreo, we just had an Oreo LTO that was very, very well received. And we keep that out there on the buffet, but we also have everything else available that we always have. But we just try to dedicate one slot. There's one thing I'm dying to tell you about, Mandy. My marketing, our CMO will kill me. But our LTO for October, I think, is going to be one of our best LTOs. So it's a teaser because I can't talk about it. But one of the things that we really focus on, besides having one at a time, is not creating a bunch of pans or a bunch of single-use things for our franchisees, because that's very, wasteful. We really try to use the tools we have and just add 1 or 2 or 3 ingredients to what we've got. But what we've done a really good job of is doing our planning for LTOs a year in advance. We already know all the LTOs we're going to do next year. We've already tested them, vetted them, priced them. Our distribution company's working on getting the highest quality, best price we can for our franchisees. And last week we had our franchise advisory council in town. They tasted everything. They gave us feedback, and then we immediately start working on it. But we're working a year to 2 years ahead on LTOs, and we have a quiver of them. And because sometimes I can be a leak, because I like to talk about Cicis, sometimes I'm on a need to know basis with the big ideas, but no, the team works really hard. But we used to not be like that. 4 or 5 years ago, it was, we need an LTO. What are we going to do? Now we're way ahead of that process. So that helps a lot.
Do franchisees have the opportunity to do LTOs at the local level? Are they able to create their own pizzas?
Well, one of the things I say all the time, and sometimes it doesn't come out like I mean to say it, but most of the great ideas aren't in this building. Most of the great ideas come from franchisees. I might be a little jaded as a longtime franchisee and having my own stores, but the franchisees very frequently give us some of the best ideas, and then we bring them here and see how would that look like if it went to market. How does that look if we try to do this nationwide because there's some things that are regional. We could do some things that be super popular in Texas and for, in Louisville, Kentucky, wouldn't work. So you have to be very careful about when you're doing LTOs. It's got to be something that appeals to teachers, preachers, coaches, moms, kids. It's got to have mass appeal. We're not going to do a ghost pepper pizza. It just
Right.
won't happen on a buffet because your 6-year-old kid gets a ghost pepper and you're going to be, you're going to be pushing our Cicis Listens app and letting us know that was a terrible that was a terrible idea. So,
Right.
so it's I think it's cool. I think it's really cool that we have so many ingredients and we have a distribution company. I'm not limited by what a broadliner can give me. I can go talk to my team. The Alicia DeFore that runs JMC Distribution is in the office right next to me. We tell her what we need. They go find it. We get it. We all go test it together in the store. But we're very, very cautious about any change to flavor, taste, or anything. One time we were looking at potentially changing our ranch dressing, and so we went there and we tasted 14 different kinds of dressings and took it down to 7 and took it down to 4 and took it down to 3. So can you imagine eating that much ranch dressing?
A lot.
When I started as president, I weighed 110 pounds. Now look at me. It's all this eating of LTOs and all that. It's no, it's good. But it's really it's crazy how important it is not to change what people are used to for all these years. You can make it better, but you can't. Cutting cost is death by pinprick. You have
Sure.
to give the guests, especially this day when there's so much competition, so much choice, and so many value competitors out there. Everybody's in the value business right now.
Yep.
So
Well, let's talk about your plans for expansion. How many units do you all have now?
we have 280 stores right now.
Okay.
And we have probably 15 currently in development that we have a franchise agreement on, or it's a corporate store, or it's in the process of being built. We recently added a franchise sales executive, and we continue to expand our development team. So 3 years ago, my focus really wasn't about growing. It was about how do we help the current franchisee maximize their profitability, collected financials, worked with financial partners to help us really analyze the opportunities in the financials. Last year, it was about technology. It was about making sure we had best in class technology as kind of the foundation of our company. This year's been about building that loyalty, building that, CRM. But it's each year we continue to build and try to make our brand better. But all of that adds up to being attractive as a choice when someone's out looking for a new business. They don't want to come in, they don't want to come into a brand that doesn't have loyalty. They don't want to come into a brand that doesn't have all those things that you really need to be competitive in our space.
Well, Jeff, that does it for my questions today. Thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thank you very much, Mandy. A pleasure as always, and we'll see you later.
That'll do it for this episode of the Pizza Marketplace podcast, and we'll catch you next time.